Hi everyone, welcome back to Poise Inspirations. This is Bri Estelle, and today I'm coming to you with a eyebrow tutorial. I have gotten some requests to do an eyebrow tutorial, and I've gotten some compliments and things on my brows, so I thought I'd come to you guys today and do a tutorial. So if you want your brows fleeky for the summer, please stay tuned. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I do with my brows is I prime them, and I basically use a eyeshadow primer. This is the primer that I use, and it is called Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. If you were unable to see the label on this primer, I will make sure to put a list of all the products below and the price for all the products that I use. This step is optional. I do it because I tend to get oily in this area. So this is what it looks like. And I go ahead and I don't put a lot on. I don't apply a lot, but I do put enough on to smooth them out and to get it all rubbed in. So the next thing I do after that is to groom my brows. So I take my spoolie, it looks just like that, and I groom my brows, basically brushing them in the shape that I want them to lay. So just like that. I use any pencil. I believe I got this pencil from the Dollar Tree or Dollar General. Basically what it is it's an eyeliner pencil, and it's in the color BlackBrown. So it looks like this. And I realized that this could be the cause for some of the oiliness in my eyebrows, so I do plan to look for a better quality pencil. However, this one works for me. If you're a beginner and you want you know, just a cheap pencil, you can definitely get it from anywhere, your drugstore, dollar store, beauty supply store. What I do with my pencil is I line the top and bottom of my brow, basically lining just the hairline of my brow. I don't go any wider or any smaller than my natural brow because I want my brows to look natural. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So doing the first brow, I line it. My daughter knows that I'm in here and she's not allowed in right now, so that's why she's crying, if you can hear her. So I line the top and the bottom of my brow. If you can see that, I line the top and the bottom first. As you can see, I have like these natural slits in my brows. God gave it to me, so I'm blessed. So I don't focus on that area quite yet. I just line the top and the bottom first. So I'm gonna do my other brow. And if you mess up on your line, if you smudge it, don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's basically literally an outline, so that you can bring your eyebrows out a little bit more. If you do mess up on your line, we will take care of that with concealer later on. So as you can see, I have lined the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the tail end of my brow. So I try to make the length of my brow my natural brow length. So what I mean by that is I take my pencil. This is the way I learned how to do the length. I don't have to do this now, but the way that I learned was to put my pencil here. So that's where it would start naturally, and then it would end naturally here. So that's a trick, that's a tip that you guys can use yourselves. If you don't want your brows to go too far in or too far out, that's just a trick for you to learn how to make them look more natural or more realistic. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the tail end of my other brow. Okay, so I don't get it perfect every time, but this is what I got. Now, the next thing I do with my pencil is I go in and I create hair-like strokes in my brow. I'm not filling it in, I'm just creating those hair-like strokes to make it look more realistic. So in the beginning of my brow, I do the strokes up and down because naturally that is the way that the hair lays on the brow. And then, so I do them up and down. And then going back into the brow, I kind of do them diagonal, kind of, because the hair goes up like that instead of back. It goes up like that. So I'm going to do the same thing for my other brow. And in that area that I have that slit, I do put a little bit more liner there. So that's what I get with my pencil. Now the next step is to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow, and it looks like this. And this is in the color Ebony, and it's Dipbrow Pomade. I got this from Sephora. I believe you can get it from Ulta as well. This is what it looks like on the inside. So I'm kind of running out of it. But you do not need a lot of product. So what I do is I take my angled brush. And this is my e.l.f. angled brush. And I just sweep some of the product onto the brush. You do not need a lot. My suggestion is to pack it on instead of grabbing a whole bunch of product at once and then placing it on the brow. You don't need a lot of this stuff because a lot of it goes far. You don't have to use a lot for it to go far. So what I do is I don't start in the beginning of my brow because I want to distribute most of the product on the back end of my brow, because I want my front to be a lot lighter than the middle or the back. So I start in the area of my arch and I just apply it. And I try to go in the same direction of the strokes that I created. So I have my brush at an angle and I'm sweeping it back like that. And my hairs are unruly. Like I don't care how many times I groom them. They want to lay how they want to lay. So I will be going back in to groom them again. So that's what that looks like. And it's just darkening the brow. I'm going to get some more on my brush and do my other brow. My brows, I can get them done in like 5 minutes. Every day when I'm going to work or whatever I'm doing. You know, I don't do my makeup a full face every day, but I do try to do my brows as often as possible because I almost feel naked. I almost feel naked if I don't have them on. It's like wearing my wedding ring. If I do not have it on during the day, like I feel incomplete, and that's how I feel about my brows. Like I gotta wear my brows. Got to have fleeky brows. So the next thing I do again is I take my spoolie and I kind of, if you see how at the beginning of my brow I have like a block, it's very blunt. I don't want that look. I want to fade that out a little bit. So I take the tip of my spoolie. I don't use the whole length of the spoolie. I just take the tip of it and then I brush very lightly that square shape out so that it's a little more faded. You see the difference between this one and this one. So I'm gonna do my left brow. The next thing I do is I take my concealer and my concealer brush. Now this concealer, I talked about this in one of my previous makeup tutorials, and it is the Revolution Makeup Revolution London Cover and Conceal palette, and it's in the color medium and dark. So I'll show you what that looks like. This palette I only use for brows. I don't use it for anything else. It seems like it works for my brows. It doesn't work for contouring or anything else, and that's because it's not very pigmented, and it's a really light formula, almost oily, and I don't want oil, you know, oily concealer or a really beige concealer down here. So I use it for my brows. And the two colors for my underbrow, I use a lighter color, so I use a lighter beige, and then for the top of my brow, I use a skin tone concealer. So for the bottom of my brow, I use this color here. As you can see, it's empty, almost empty, and then I use this color. So I'm gonna take the tip of my concealer brush. It has a little concealer on it already. I'm gonna take the tip of that, grab some of the product, and I am just going to trace the outline of the brow, the pencil and everything that I created. And like I said, this is going to help correct some of the imperfections in the lining, the liner. And then I don't rub it in yet, I'm just applying it, so you'll see what I mean. This palette is very inexpensive. I think I got it from Ulta for $5. So if you're a beginner, or if you want, you know, to try out some inexpensive products, I would suggest going to Ulta and maybe taking a look at the Makeup Revolution palette. It has multiple different colors. You can, I'm going to do the same thing on this brow here. You can blend them kind of like what I'm doing to get the color that you want. However, if you want something a little heavier and a little bit more pigmented, I would try a different palette. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And like I said, I'm not rubbing it out or blending it out. I'm not doing any of that quite yet. I'm just applying the product. So for the top of my brow, I use, like I said, I use more of a skin tone color. So I'll show you the colors that I use out of the same palette. So out of the palette, I use this color again, and then I use the darker brown color. And it may not appear to be darker on camera. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it does come out to be. One thing I try not to do is I try not to put a whole lot of concealer on, just to avoid flashback. Some people really pack it on. I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to take my other concealer brush and blend out my concealer. This one is a little bit more firm, whereas this brush that I was using to apply the concealer is a little softer. So go ahead and blend that out. And then this is the stage where you can go in and take your brush and perfect that line. Use your brush to kind of, you know, create the outline that you want and perfect any mistakes you made. So do that on the other side on the top. And one thing I also wanted to mention was my brows are naturally thinner. I don't really have a lot of hair in my brows, so they're not very thick. So I personally do not go and get them waxed or tweezed or anything like that. Like, I just go with the flow. I don't do all that. So the concealer does a good job, and I think it does a good job in hiding any of the hairs. If you go and get yours tweezed or whatever, I think the concealer does a good job in hiding any of the hairs that might be growing back if you're in between getting your services done. So, okay, so that's what that looks like. All right, so the next thing I do is I take my mascara. It's a brow mascara, and it's by NYX. And I hope you guys can see that. So this is in the color Espresso, and basically it gives it a little bit more tint, as well as it kind of seals in the brow almost. So this is what that looks like. It looks literally like mascara. So I'm going to go ahead and lightly apply my mascara. And like I said, it gives it a little bit more tint. Lays those hairs down. Like I said, I could go to work, get the kids, you know, from daycare, pick them up, come home, cook, maybe take a little nap, do some little stuff on the computer, and my eyebrows still look good. So I'm feeling real, you know, feeling real good about my little brows and everything. So the last thing I do is I go in with my brush and I blend out the concealer a little bit more, as best as I possibly can. And you can even go in with your finger if you want to. And blend it out a little bit better. Alright, so here is the finished brow look. Tell me what you guys think. Is there any products you think I should try, or brow pencils that you think would be better for me to use than the one from the dollar store, the Dollar Tree? Or any other tips that you might have for me as far as my brow routine. I am not a stickler for going out and buying the most expensive products. If you can find what you like for less, then definitely go out and do that. You don't have to go to MAC, you don't have to go to Bobbi Brown or those places if you don't want to. No shade to those who do, because like I said, I have my staple products that I like and that I am willing to spend a little bit more money for. However, when I'm doing my tutorials, I do want to make sure that I'm using products that you guys might be able to go out and say, oh, I can't afford this, or give you some other options of products that are just as good of quality, but they might be less expensive. So that's my spiel on that. If you guys, like I said, have any questions, put your comments, your questions, all that down below. If you have not subscribed already, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and thumbs up the video, because you know you like my brow tutorial, you know you like my brow routine. And then also make sure you turn on your notifications, guys, because I do plan on doing more videos and having more uploads for you. So thank you for watching, thank you for returning, and you all have a blessed day. Bye.